You been in the city before, yeah?
Of
All
course.
right, where'd you stay?
French Quarter.
All right, you stayed in the French Quarter. When you got to New Orleans, whatever brought you, whatever driver, limo, car service, Uber, cab, whoever, they brought you downtown, and your hotel was off of Canal Street. Everything that is worth anything, like, you know what I'm saying, when people come to the city, they trying to touch something, it's gonna be off Canal Street. That's our main street. That's where our Saks Fifth Avenue is housed. That's where the casino, like the major land-based Harris Casino, that's where that is. Um, you turn off Canal Street to get the Bourbon. That's an outlet street. You know what I'm saying? Decatur, also a major street, is right off of there too. You can get anywhere from Canal Street. So it's so important to the city, and I feel like in what I've done in the underground industry and what I've done just in my town and being visible and just trying to push car culture and things like that in my city. I feel like if I was an inanimate object, I would be Canal Street. You know what I'm saying? Because I probably got my hands in a good grip of things, you know, in the town. And if you get there and you need to put your hands on something, you need to find somebody or something, people in the game know to reach out to me. So you know, that's it. I think other people, I think Future and Drake refer to themselves as the plug. I am Canal Street. Oh well, me and my homie CJ. Well, honestly, all I did was just live, you know. But CJ has an eye. That's and that's who shoot all my videos. But he actually took over the art direction for the project. I guess you would say like he was commissioned by Atlantic to handle the art. So it required really no thought on my part because me and him we work we work without having to talk because we're friends, you know what I'm saying? So it's just he's the one who has the visual eye and I'm the one who's gonna write the music and lay it on the beat. But he knows how to shoot music. So a still picture was the same thing. He knew how to take everything that's me and represent it in 1 second. The same way he could show you my whole life in 2 minutes and 50 seconds in the video, he figured out how to do it in a glance. And it was to put two of my lowriders in front of the theater on Canal Street, and me in my normal shop clothes that I'm hanging out in the shop. And I had like a oil smudged work shirt on and some shell toes, just chilling. It wasn't like an album cover outfit. I wasn't in like the shiny suit or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? It was just typical what you always find me in because he knew, you know, how to make the picture say, you know, more than 1,000 words. So that's what that was. It was pretty much just trying to make a video in 1 second, and we nailed it. I like to feel like we did. Nah, I think I wanted to make sure that we were in the holiday time. I didn't want to miss the fourth quarter for sure. I knew that I didn't want to wait until January, February to try to get these records out because I have so many and so many that didn't make this album that I didn't use because but they're very good and I think people need to adjust to me on different production and trying different things so that they can even be ready to hear this other clip of records that also would have been included in Canal Street Confidential if I would have made it like a 20-track record or something. I got records with Ross, records with Jeremiah in the clip that I haven't been able to, you know, I haven't surfaced yet. So that's already in the way. So I needed to come out at this point for people to see, you know, what happens when you hear me with 808 Mafia and things like that. Because I know I was looking at people reacting just at track listings. A lot of my fans was just shocked before it came out, just like, whoa, you know, you got Future on this record. Perps on the beat did this beat, you know what I'm saying? So they didn't know what was gonna happen. And then once we really start putting out records, you know, and like when I put Boulders out, the reaction to Boulders was so crazy to where I was like, well, they ready for it, you know? And people would tweet me and commenting on Instagram just telling me, you know, we had been waiting for you to step into that arena and get some of those, you know, those paper beats. You know, you could tell when it's some change involved. You know, when somebody is really trying to put out some good music. You know, and put out some quality beats. So I grabbed some of that stuff and laid down the same raps that I do. You know, and it's cool. It was really no different than any of the mixtape work I do because, like, you know that we've worked on mixtapes. You know, and that's like a dash and grab because you download anybody beat you want. You don't have to pay for it. Then like I could get Dr. Dre's beats, rap over all that, put that out on a mixtape. So this time we were actually working with producers who make quite like big beats and paying for it. You know, so now it's gonna cost $10 and we doing the thing. Like I said, because I knew that I was already preparing the second movie. You know, we wrote part one to sell the action figure for part two. You know, that's the commercial for part two. Part one is the commercial for part two because part one is gonna be like, oh, okay, I didn't know you could do that. Whoa, I didn't know that. So now when part two is coming, you already know what's going on. It's not gonna be a shock. So we did like, and when I say we, that's me and the homies just sat around in the studio and I would play. I'm not big on listening to my own songs. I'm not the dude, you know, who's on the bus like just banging his own joints. I'm not like gonna pick you up in my car listening to my own stuff, you know what I'm saying? So we sat down and I didn't play the whole songs. I would only play the beginning and the end of the record. So as you see, like, okay, what does this sound like should flow next? Like, what sounds like right? And we did it. We laid it out like that. I never played the whole joints, you know, because really that's the point that counts. As that song's fading out, like you think about it in the club, you know, you firsthand, you have your hands on the pulse. Like you can kill the whole club if you throw on the wrong record based on what you just played, because it has to feel the same way when it's coming on, but be different, you know? So we had to go for that. Whatever emotions those instruments would bring out, you want to come back. Like if you brought them really, you did something like, it might have been something introspective, you know, and you don't want to buzz kill everybody. Now you know you got to come back with something like that's going to pick them up. Or maybe you want to bum everybody out. So you find your other one that's like that and you attach it, you know, but you know I didn't do that. If there's a flow to the project, I would liken it to just a cruise. I don't know how far in car culture everybody is, but leaving your house to go to some event or however, there's the aspect of, you know, you're going to cruise around, you're from the neighborhood, you'll see people you know. So you might see people that you don't like. You got to keep your head on a swivel. So there's that aspect, there's a street aspect. There's girls around. Maybe you picked one up to go with you to where you're going, maybe on the way to a girl's house. So you have to factor that in too, you know. So that's a part of it. And then the music that you're listening to while you're riding. So that brings in the beat selection and things I pick to represent the fact that I, you know, the stuff that I like, the way I live, the city I'm from, you know, instruments that I pick or some things that I might hear just walking around downtown. You know, there's jazz spots and all, you know, if you've seen it on TV, you know, it's similar to that, you know. But in taking a ride, you take all of this in. Going to a basketball game, you're gonna ride through the rich neighborhood, poor neighborhood. You might see yellow tape, a murder scene. You might see celebration, a baby being born. You might see anything, you know. Now the record flows like that. Leaving the house, neighborhood, that aspect, good vibes, protective vibes also. Immediately after that, in my mind, when I'm cruising, after I get out of my neighborhood, I'm probably going to go pick up the homegirl to ride with. You know what I'm saying? And that's when where me and Ty Dolla Sign and things like that pick up. You know what I'm saying? And the flow is right through. And then I got records like Cruising that come a little bit later on, where I'm just talking about the aspects of lowriding and what makes a good lowrider, what makes a clean Chevy. So there's that. And that's a ride. That's just a car ride. You go somewhere, in my mind, I walk around and check out the car, look at how good it's looking, I wash it, once it's ready to go. So that's the artwork, you looking at that. Track 1, Future, Drive-By, you know what I'm saying? That's getting in the car, familiarizing yourself with the ride, backing out the driveway, already knowing you about to kill it. When you hear the 808 Mafia beat, you're like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? This is gonna be crazy. So that's like sitting in a clean ass car and driving out of your neighborhood where everybody's already used to it and knowing you're about to enter the rest of the city that doesn't know about it and you're about to kill them. You know what I'm saying? And then it just flows for the rest of the evening, all the way till you get back to the house. I just spoke about Drive-By and the reason that record is so important to me. And because me being an underground artist, when people from, and I don't want to put a negative connotation on the word mainstream when I say it. I never want anybody to feel upset about their own success. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause a lot of my friends have garnered crazy success. Wiz is a planet. That's my little brother. All right, like I wrote him his first joint. This dude is Mars or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But he's mainstream. That's where he lives, but he's underground because I know what's really going on. You know what I'm saying? So, Drive-By, that record is important to me. Not only is it the first record, but I done records with Future prior to Drive-By. We had done some records because I said on Twitter once that just the music he makes me buy jewelry. Like that's when I'm not one of those dudes, you know what I'm saying? But like shit like this happens because of that, Sometimes I'll fucking lose it. But the reason being because I knew how long he had been grinding for it. And I know in trying to grind for it, there's always an opportunity for you to change your sound. Somebody tell you, you just do this. If you just do this, you just do this. But he never did. And he just stayed, always created his sound and did his thing. And then when it started clicking for him, then he blew up, you know what I'm saying? To megastar status, all right? Then here I am, like the homie out the hood, like, okay, well, since everything all good now, I want you to buy me a car. You know what I'm saying? Like, niggas in the hood, I'm like, well, look, I need to get a verse from you, you know what I'm saying? And he just was like, for sure. And nailed it and sent it, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that meant a lot because I see people in the industry I see friendships dissolve and things in the industry because of how long it takes for features or people not getting back to so-and-so for a record or, things like that. And for somebody who's doing so much to just be like, all right, I got it. The whole album was like that. Like I told you about like having Wiz is a planet, but it was nothing to just be like, yo, bro, I need a verse for this joint. I got that back that night, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's just had like a lot of respect for what I built on the underground, and they've always been trying to damn near pull me over to that. So this is them trying to pull me over without grabbing me, because every time somebody tried to grab me, I like, look, man, I want to do this. Like, don't bring me to that. But that's like that, man. But working with Perps was big because I heard a lot of beats that he had done. So it was crazy that he was reluctant to send me a clip of the beats that I used. Like all of the beats every time, like every beat he played, I picked it. And that's the same thing I said about Harry Fraud when I did Cigarette Boats. When Perps came through, he was like, this might be too crazy for you. You might not want this one. And he would play, and I'm like, no, I want it. You know, and I was like laying them on the spot. So that goes for Drive By. That goes for the second record, Everywhere. That was like an experiment. He sent me that beat with a paragraph long disclaimer, you know, like, bruh, I don't know, I was just tired, it's 5 in the morning, I was just trying some stuff. Just listen to it. If it sucks, you know what I'm saying, just don't even tell me about it. We don't have to talk about it. We'll never have to talk about it again. I sent them the record. Like, I laid 2 verses in the hook and sent it. I'm like, yo, it was the craziest shit ever. I was like, stop doing that. Just send me out, just fucking empty the clip, you know, let me get all that. Outside of Drive By and Everywhere, winning is obviously important to me because that's me and Wiz. And in times with so much shit that was going on in his life, you know, in the outside world, and that's always why I was protective of him and almost reluctant for him to go to that, because I'm like, as much as they like you, they don't like you too once you get to that. Like me being underground, 2,500 people at the show, I'll fucking walk off with all my shit on, through the crowd, high five everybody, hug every girl, leave with all my shit, nothing's happened. People don't even like bug me. Like, yeah, some people might want me to sign some stuff, but after they realize, like, damn, he just signed 100 fucking things, people just be like, damn, I just wanted to say what's up, you know? Once you cross over to that shit, you got people there, and some of them are just there because they don't like you. You know what I'm saying? There's no way of knowing now because you in that world. And you go walk through that crowd if you want to, you might get poked by a motherfucker who paid $40 to come see, you know? But it's just crazy in that world, and that's where he exists at. But for him to exist there, for me to be doing my thing in the underground, and with people in media and interviews always asking us about one another in a way to try to create something, it's like, okay, if with him, they'll ask him, do you think Spitter's like upset about your success? You know what I'm saying? Like, or do you think that he feels like it should be him, because he was first? Or then they'll ask me like, do you think like your bro's like running with? I'm like, well, I'm saying no way, like, cause you just asked me, you said my brother. So in that instance, that means that we already know what's going on, you know. And winning is just another reminder, you know, to the world, like, we came into this shit splitting Chinese plates to Right High Fly. We had like minimal everything. And we did something, we did a mixtape that we thought was just gonna be cool in New Orleans and Pittsburgh. I was like, well, I know everybody on my set gonna listen to it, and I know everybody in Pittsburgh gonna smoke to it, and that'd be straight, but it did something. It made a lot of people stop smoking blunts. It made people start smoking papers. It made like a lot of these paper companies a whole lot of bread because we came into this shit naive. We just rapping. So we name dropping and brand dropping and all kind of shit on mixtapes and just building empires for motherfuckers who selling papers. You know what I'm saying? And the shit legit did that. And we was just sitting in the apartment and we wasn't thinking about it going that far. Like, and every year there's like kids are like celebrating the anniversary of it and shit like that. And I'm like, damn, like, was that the chronic to you motherfuckers? And it was though. I'm like, damn, that's crazy because we was just doing what we was doing, you know? But like I said, I told somebody the other day, his mom knew that it was gonna be that though. Like 6 songs in, his mom was like, yo, y'all are like outcasts because he's like this and you like that. And but it worked. And lo and behold, it worked and it's still working and we still winning and we're still working. And that's why that record is like super important to me. The video was fun to do. My homeboy CJ, who's the fucking art director of the whole project, shot that video, as did he Shoot Boulders, which is super important to me because that's the first beat that Perp sent me. When he decided to work with me, he's like, yo, let's do some joints. He just sent one beat and that was like a feeler. He didn't even know, you know what I'm saying, if I was gonna do it. and I nailed it. And I hadn't played it for him until I did 6 other records. We had already done Drive By, Winning, Everywhere, this Ross record that's not on there, a lot of these records that are gonna be on the next volume, we had already recorded those. And in the studio, I was like, oh, you never heard Boulders? And he's like, nah. He's like, what is that? And I played it for him. He was like, man. He was like, that's the one beat I didn't think you were gonna use ever in life. I was like, that's the first beat I did. You know what I'm saying? Then I told him, I was like, you know, every beat you sent me, I've done. I don't skip them. I don't listen to them to see if I'm gonna do them. I give them to the engineer. I'm like, open the session right now. Perps just sent me one, so I'm gonna do it. Like, there's very few people in the game that you know what I'm saying? That's like people say that about, I'm blessed to be one of the people, like, they say that about me, like, if something shows up, they don't have to hear, it's just an instant download. They'll sacrifice hard drive space for it, like, fuck it, I'll just grab it. When that dude send me a beat, I know I'm gonna nail it. So, that's that. Another record, How High, that I did with Lloyd, and I think that might be where I stopped. That record is super important to me. And I'm gonna say that for a few reasons. When I was with Young Money, me and Lloyd was tight, because Lloyd always was would be hanging around with Wayne and shit. He was always in the mix. Lloyd from the Calio Project. He from New Orleans. Ultimately, a lot of people don't know that. So we been jammed. We been tight, and I was happy for him with his Murder Inc. success, all that going on. I was just hanging around at the time, and I just was like, man, that's tight. Wayne getting paper, you know what I'm saying? This fucking dude is like a singing superstar, and we all just getting stoned all the time. That was good enough for me, you know what I'm saying? I never even thought about, like, yeah, we're gonna have records. But here it is, like, now I have a business. Me and Wayne got records, you know what I'm saying? Like without me even being on Young Money, like people didn't even think that we would ever line up again. But we lined up and did the first single, you know? But nonetheless, I reached out to Lloyd because I wrote a hook that was had elements of Have You Ever, which was R. Kelly, and it was produced by Trackmasters, and Nas was on that record. Have you ever think that you would be this rich? You ever think that you would have these cars? That was the hook. Mine was like something, like I played everything different, but it was in that order, you know what I'm saying? And this is rap where shit like that is understood as a nod, like, to that was a dope record. So I really thought that was gonna be fine. R. Kelly wanted 100% of the song. Everything. Like, he wrote the verses and everything. And it's like, yo, man, I really liked I Believe I Could Fly. I really like the Batman song, the Gotham song. I like all that stuff, man. The stuff he did with Sparkle. Shit's fucking remarkable. But I'm just trying to do my thing as you were doing your thing. Why would you want 100% of mine? When the part that I'm using is the part that I'm pretty sure the Trackmasters wrote. I'm sure that Tone and Poke wrote the Have You Ever part because they had a fucking dance going with it. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't singing. I didn't take none of the part that you did, but that's all right. You know what I'm saying? Maybe when I get to that level, I'll like tell people I want 100%. I won't though, you know, but it's all good, man. Whatever, bro. But Lloyd saved the day right there, man. So super important to me because I sent them the record and I told them what happened and I was like, don't even worry about how I had it or what, because he was like, well, what was it? I was like, no. You do your thing. Just do whatever, you know? And he sent back something that I wouldn't even been able to ask for. He sent back something that I needed, you know, and you don't know what you need, like, until you see it. It's like kids, they fucking lose their mind when they watch TV. They see shit, I gotta have it. I didn't know I needed it till he sent it back. When that shit got to me, I was like, this is what was missing from the album. You know what I'm saying? Super player. It was super player, and that was a layup from the homie, and it made me think back to times when we used to move around in Atlanta, way back in the G when he was doing this Murder Inc. shit, and I was like, man, it's tight. He came through and saved the day, like nothing, like that, you know. The bulk of it was recorded in the day. I had Canal Street Confidential in mind to do with Chasing Cash,
before I made Cathedral. If my computer was here, you'll see Canal Street Confidential is like 40 records. There's 2 files. There's one Canal Street Confidential, 40 records, all chasing cash. I took 7 of them to make Cathedral, and I'm gonna take the rest of them, and it's always gonna be a volume of Cathedral. You know what I'm saying? And then because the title for Canal Street, that title, I was like, I probably gotta run retail with this because it sounds like a movie. It's on the style of a movie, so like motherfuckers gonna wanna participate in this. I'm gonna pick this scratch up, so we bust that move. You know what I'm saying? Church, Cathedral, that's a donation. Me and Chase and Cat, we from the spot, so we gonna always show love to the city. So I figured if I was gonna bust a move like that, I'd do that with the homie. We gonna come back and pick up some scratch at a later date. But Canal Street Confidential had to be this joint right here, and a whole grip of the records I did when Perps came through to hear the first record. When he came through just to hear what I had done and he played those other joints, I nailed them all right there. So that was that. So we did I don't know, maybe 8 of them in a day, man. Everything that Perps did, I did it all right in front of him. So crazy. That's about it though. I think there was a dog there. There was 2 dogs in the studio. There was a French bulldog puppy that I got from my homegirl that was hanging out. And then my other homie, one of my lowrider homies, he brought he's got a Shih Tzu. Crazy. If you see the guy, you see his car, you know what I'm saying? You know where he's from, you know anything about him. You wouldn't expect him to have a Shih Tzu, but he's got a cool little Shih Tzu named Raider, and Raider was in the studio kicking it, and we put together a hell of an album.